Okay, this is Human Biology 104, the Fetal Pig Lab, and in this video I will be going over the structures for both the Fetal Pig 1 and the Fetal Pig 2 lab. I will be starting off in Fetal Pig 1, working with the mouth area, and then going to be going down into the chest area, and then or the neck area and the chest, and then going down into the lower abdominal area for the last part of the video. Alright, so I'm going to take my time pointing out some of these structures. I'm going to be following a list there. I'm not going to be focusing on external structures. I think that would be pretty much cut and dry on external features. I'll be concentrating mostly on internal organs. And I will not be having any reproductive organs on the lab exam, so I will not be spending any time going over those as well. Alright, so beginning on this one here, the mouth. Alright, and so the first structure I wanted to show you on the mouth here is the difference between the hard palate and the soft palate. The hard palate is this ridged part of the roof of the mouth right here, so this nice and ridges here. And then you have the midline that goes right down the middle of the hard palate. The soft palate is a little bit back farther, it's right here. Think of this as where the gag reflex begins on a human. Okay, so hard palate, soft palate. If we go a little bit farther down the soft palate, you see how it begins to kind of narrow and then it widens back up. This is the beginning of the pharynx, okay, which is the throat. Notice that there's a flap right here. This flap is called the epiglottis. The epiglottis blocks the respiratory tract whenever an individual swallows food or liquid. So again, this is the epiglottis. The epiglottis covers the hole called the glottis. Now if I pull this back a little bit, the hole, this is the glottis, the actual hole there. So the glottis is a hole, the epiglottis is a flap that's above it. So those are the 6 main structures for the mouth, and I'm going to move a little bit down into the neck area of the pig. Alright, so if I just orientate myself a little bit here with the neck. Okay, so the neck area, the first thing that you want to focus on are a couple glands, a couple sets of glands that you see on the neck here. And so the first set of glands I'm going to show you are the thymus glands. The thymus glands are these long glands that are right along the side right here, and they're also found on the side right here. So these are the thymus glands. And then you have this oval gland right in the middle. This is called the thyroid. It's right in the same location where we will find our thyroid gland. So thyroid is on the middle, thymus glands on the sides. Now, behind the glands here, you have some respiratory structures. This very large structure right here, this is the larynx, the voice box. Below the larynx, where you see this ridged tube, this is the trachea, or windpipe. Okay, so larynx, trachea. Okay, on either side of the larynx and the trachea are 2 major blood vessels. So I'm going to pull this up right here. The blue one is the jugular vein. Okay, so if I hold that up like that with a little pointer right here, so blue is jugular vein. This one is supposed to have a red dye in there, but did not get up to here on this pig here. But this clear one right here, or the most inner blood vessel, this is the carotid artery. They run in pairs. So the blue is the jugular. This clear one, which sometimes is pink, would be the carotid. And it's on the other side as well. So if I focus on pulling up the blood vessels on the other side here, I'll pull these up as well on here for you. Alright, so blue, jugular. This clear one's carotid. Now this also brought up a third structure right here. This very thin string that you see running right alongside the carotid, this is the vagus nerve. Okay, so you got those 2 blood vessels jugular, carotid, and the vagus nerve. Alright, so again, the glands, looking at the glands here, moving it to the side. These are the thymus glands on the side, thyroid right in the middle, respiratory structures, larynx, trachea. Now behind the trachea, if I pull this, there's a very flexible tube right directly behind the trachea here. This is the esophagus. This is what leads to the stomach. So it's a very flexible tube. So esophagus is behind the trachea. Alright, so those are all the structures of the neck. Moving on down to the chest. Alright, so looking at the chest part now. The chest, you have, this is the heart right here, right in the middle. Here on either side you got the lungs. Another side here, you got the lungs. Outside the lungs, this is a rib cage. Here's a rib cage as well. And when they come together at the bone that's called the sternum. I cut through the sternum already so you can see the heart and the lungs. And then the last structure in the chest here, it actually separates the chest from the abdominal cavity. This sheet of muscle that I'm pulling right here is called the diaphragm. It's what separates the chest from the abdominal cavity. So the diaphragm. Okay, moving on down to the lower part of the body, the abdominal part. Alright, so again, up on top here is the diaphragm. Alright, so let's start off with this, the largest internal organ. All this right here is the liver. Okay, so this is the liver. The liver has several lobes to it, just like the lungs, so it takes up quite a bit of space. Liver. Now if I flip the liver over, you see that little green sac right here. This is the gallbladder. Okay, the gallbladder right there. Okay, next, underneath the liver, so I'm pulling the liver up here, you have this baggy organ right here. This is the stomach. Okay, so the stomach right here. Okay, and if I pull the stomach up, okay, and then dig a little bit deeper here. Deep inside, you see this little glandular tissue right here. This is the pancreas. So the pancreas is underneath the stomach. So here's a flappy stomach. I pull it up. Here's the pancreas. Pancreas, stomach, liver. Okay, on the side of the stomach, you see this very narrow organ right here. This is the spleen. Alright, moving on down to this, you see a whole bunch of small intestines. So all these really small little coiled up tubes here are the small intestines. This big clump right here is the large intestines. Now if I take the small intestines and I spread them out like this, you see that little webbing? That little webbing is the mesenteries. This is what keeps all intestines bunched up together. Mesenteries. Alright, so again, this is the large intestines here. Now if I extend the large intestines down, you see how it straightens up and goes straight down towards the anus. This is the rectum. So the rectum is the straight part of the large intestines. So it comes up from this clump right here and works its way down. Okay, looking at what else? See here, the umbilical artery and umbilical vein. So the umbilical cord. Okay, so the umbilical cord is actually very much on the outside here. So this is the umbilical cord hanging off right here. Okay, now the umbilical cord, I cut it. It was up here, And one of the structures of the umbilical cord is right here. This is the umbilical vein. The umbilical vein actually attaches to the liver. So after it becomes a umbilical vein, after its job is done, that this pig is no longer a fetal pig, it becomes a ligament that goes directly to the liver. So again, this is a umbilical vein. The umbilical arteries are down a little bit lower. So you see this structure right here. So you see this right here, one side, and this on the other side. These are the umbilical arteries. So there's two umbilical arteries, one umbilical vein. So again, the umbilical vein is connected to the liver. The umbilical arteries is on either side of what this is the urinary bladder, or just a bladder. Okay, so the bladder is right in the middle of these umbilical arteries. Okay, where the bladder leads from are the urinary organs called the kidneys. So they're in the back of the wall here. So here's one kidney right here. Move the intestines over. You got the other kidney right here. So I'm going to focus on this one right here. So looking at this kidney right here. Okay, you see the kidney itself. You see two blood vessels going into the kidney. You see a renal vein, which is blue. The renal artery is clear. So renal artery, renal vein. Then you see this very long tube that comes up in the kidney. This is called a ureter. Okay, there's one on each kidney. So two ureters, one right here and one on the other kidney going straight down. And that's what meets up with the bladder. And then the bladder actually comes down to one tube called the urethra. And the urethra actually goes down to the urogenital area, whether it be the penis or the vagina, depending on what kind of gender your pigs are. Okay, and so doing a quick little overview on the list here. I don't see anything that I have missed, and so review this video a few times to look at the structures. I will be using this particular pig for the lab exam. I will be taking individual pictures of this pig, so you want to make sure you are familiar with all those structures looks like, and of course ask me any questions you have, whether on the forums or through emails. So alright, good luck studying the pig in the next couple of weeks.